Kevin and Yuka believed they already knew what happiness looked like, because for years, their life had been built on simple, steady things, familiar routines, shared smiles, the kind of comfort that doesn't ask for attention, but holds everything together. They had been married long enough to understand each other without needing many words. Kevin's workdays were full and demanding, but when he came home, the warmth never faded. Yuka carried the same calm energy into their home. She appreciated what they had deeply and sincerely. Still, like anyone living a settled life, she sometimes felt a quiet absence, a missing note she couldn't fully name. She often thought about the neighbor who used to live next door years ago. Back then, life felt more connected, more open. Conversations happened naturally. Laughter carried across fences. That neighbor had moved away long ago, and while nothing was truly lost, something familiar had gently slipped into memory. That morning felt ordinary. Kevin and Yuka stepped outside together, ready to begin another predictable day. And that's when they noticed someone standing next door, clearly new to the neighborhood. Their eyes met, followed by a brief pause that lasted just a second longer than expected. A simple greeting followed. The conversation was short, almost forgettable on the surface, yet something about it felt unexpectedly pleasant. There was no effort, no pressure, just an easy moment that lingered longer than it should have. Later that evening, during dinner, the moment returned naturally in conversation. Kevin mentioned how friendly the greeting had been. Yuka nodded, admitting she felt the same quiet warmth. They weren't searching for anything in particular, but the idea of building a good neighborly relationship felt comforting. Still, neither of them wanted to seem intrusive or awkward. Nothing dramatic had happened, yet something subtle had shifted. A reminder that even in a happy, well-lived life, there is always room for new connections, waiting patiently at the edge of an ordinary day. The following morning carried a different kind of energy, though nothing on the surface had changed. Kevin had already left for work, and Yuka was tidying up the kitchen when the doorbell rang. When she opened the door, Honda stood there with a small, neatly wrapped gift and an easy, respectful smile. Yuka accepted the gift with genuine appreciation. They exchanged a few more words, light and friendly, before Honda wished her a good day and returned home. When Kevin came home later that evening, Yuka told him about the visit while placing the gift on the table between them. Kevin listened carefully, smiling in a way that suggested he understood exactly what she felt. They talked about how easy the moment had been, how natural it felt to be welcomed without pressure. Slowly, the idea formed between them, not as a plan, but as a shared instinct. Maybe they could invite Honda over for dinner. Nothing formal. Just a simple meal, a chance to get to know the person living just a few steps away. That evening passed peacefully, but the thought lingered, settling quietly into their routine. The next morning, as they were getting ready to leave home for work, they met Honda, who was also getting ready to leave home for the company. They extended the invitation. Honda accepted with the same calm warmth he had shown from the start. When the evening arrived, the atmosphere was relaxed from the moment the door opened. Conversation flowed easily, touching on everyday topics, work, neighborhood life. Small observations that slowly reveal who someone is beneath the surface. There was laughter, but nothing forced. Silence, but never awkward. The kind of evening that feels less like an event and more like a continuation of something already familiar. It was clear that something gentle and genuine had begun to take shape. Kevin and Yuka felt the comfort of routine return only now. It carried a subtle new layer. Not excitement in the dramatic sense, but the quiet satisfaction of knowing that even stable, happy lives can still make room for new, meaningful connections without losing what already matters most. In the days that followed, life moved on as usual, yet felt subtly renewed. Kevin and Yuka settled back into their routines, comforted by small, natural interactions that brought warmth without disruption. Honda remained respectful and easygoing, making every exchange feel safe and sincere. Over time, brief conversations and shared reflections highlighted how rare simple, balanced connections can be. Kevin and Yuka realized that true richness in life often comes not from change, but from intention valuing trust, respect, and the quiet beauty of human connection that gently enhances what already feels whole. A gentle rhythm settled in, not by changing Kevin and Yuka's lives, but by revealing space that had always been there. Their routines stayed familiar, yet felt less isolated. What they cherished was the simplicity connection without expectation. Honda's respectful presence reinforced trust, and that trust quietly strengthened their marriage. Yuka realized she hadn't missed the past, but meaningful connection beyond her immediate world. This story reminds us that happiness isn't only about what we already have, but also about how open we are to the people and moments that enter our lives. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy stories about everyday life and meaningful connections, consider subscribing for more.